Okay. So for those wondering, I was a weird bug happened where I was removed from the party and I was removed from the lobby. So I was trying to get back into the lobby. I wasn't in one, but I loaded into the game anyway. I was wild. I didn't know what the hell was going on, but okay, yeah. I guess I was in the lobby without knowing I was in it. All right. Regardless, here we go. We have made it into the qualifying match, into the finals, and here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the Chinese Protoss player himself representing the Starving Camels SSLT. It is Cyan. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the other Chinese Protoss player representing Dragon Kaizi Gaming. It is Jieshi. Last series here of the qualifier, the last PvP to close things out. Boy, we may even finish before ESL Open Cup Asia finishes. Should be wild. I'm all for it. All for it. You know what that means? That means I can eat some food. I can have more than just one piece of chicken. It's gonna be beautiful, man. It's gonna be beautiful. But before that happens, we have our PvP force, of course. And we have two titans in the Chinese scene, in the Chinese region. Cyan and Jieshi, they've both really been looking so in form this year. I mentioned it earlier, but Cyan, Jieshi, Maxed, Mixins even, and I can't believe my eyes. 10,000 fireflies. I don't know what the line is, but Firefly as well. They're all looking just so damn good, and it's great to see them. Great to see them all excelling and doing well and taking down big names like Hero and Creator and Cure and Maru and Clem. I think Clem was the big one that Jieshi was able to bring down recently. So yeah, it's been really cool to see them all level up. It's been cool to see them all get a lot of support in the Chinese region and all be motivated to improve and to compete. Boy. But only one advances on. It's a brutal qualifier, and oh my god, things are already popping off. We have Jieshi going for a Robo Opener, his opponent going for a Stargate Opener instead. The probe is going to be going down, so both players are in the dark. This Robo Opener can go a multitude of different ways. This is a very safe opener. Very safe. This is like an anti-all-in opener from Jieshi. Assuming his opponent is going to be in his face and aggressive. While Cyan is denied entry into the main base, we can see likewise Jieshi shades past those stalkers. He wants to try to get a read of what's going on as well. Immortal production has commenced. We have a sentry on the way for hallucinated scouts. And Cyan is playing standard. Like, Stargate into expansion is not too crazy. Oracle is on the way. Jieshi throwing down a third gateway. With this third gateway, he's setting up for a one base all-in. He's already got his first immortal. Yep, there we go. Prism is behind it. One base is all that Jieshi needs. Cyan is now the player that's in the dark. He doesn't really know what's going on. Not yet. Oh, the first Oracle is kept at home. This is not good. We need the Oracle across the map. We need to scout what's happening. The Oracle cleans up one of the Adepts, but Cyan hasn't seen anything. He doesn't even know if this is natural. Oh boy. Cyan is in the dark. The army is moving out across the map. The Stalkers are moving in, and we can either go for a recall or we can push into the main, as the natural is not existent. There we go. Void Ray in production immediately. Shield batteries on the way in the main. Stalkers do dive into the main base, and it looks like this pylon is going to be going down. Jieshi is forced to warp in back at home. Forced to pull the boys as well. Jieshi should be able to defend. Across the map, Cyan gives up the natural, and that's fine. Cyan, he can afford to lose a base. Oracles dive into the main. Oof. Crippling the economy here of Jieshi. Solid force field, but we're in range of the overcharge. Cyan is holding on. Holding on for dear life. The Adept refuses to die. Should be called an immortal. Oh my god, as has been tanking so many of those shots, the first Void Ray does arrive. It does activate the prismatic alignment. Second Void Ray on the way. Across the map, Jieshi, he is hurting. He is losing probe after probe. The Oracles, they dive back in once again. Oh, getting another couple of probes here. The Nexus, or the natural base of Cyan, is going to go down. But Cyan is still ahead. Like, Jieshi doesn't even have the worker count to fully saturate his main base right now because of how many probes have been going down. Jieshi needs more damage. The recall is forced. Cyan is free to expand. If Cyan wants to, he can macro from here. And he is. He's going to expand, but also push out. Okay, the units tab. Cyan is down in the Stalker count, so he has to be careful not to overextend. He has a little bit of depth, sure. He's just going to be holding the line here in the center of the map. Jieshi, if he wants to, we could maybe try to take the gold. That would be a good way to come back economically if he wants to drag this out and get into a macro game. Gold bases have been very popular in PvP. I say that, just players like Max Specs and Hero. As the Oracles aren't done, they go in, they get a couple more kills. Adepts threading a shade into the main. Cyan ready for it. He's gonna be looking to dive on top of that Immortal if possible. We can see Jieshi unload, make sure that there's room in that prism to pick up that Immortal. Oh, I love the stasis traps. Oh my god, I don't know if we're gonna be able to make use of them, but I love them. Stasis traps are thrown down once again. Cyan is able to wall off in time. What's our army looking like? Cyan hasn't really been warping in. I'm concerned here that Cyan is going to be falling behind in the overall army count. Sure, Cyan has a little bit of depths, but Stalkers, they trump adepts. So here we go. We have a couple of adepts that have made their way into the main base. Cyan going to be forced to engage on the front lines. Yeah, with 3 Void Rays, we have enough firepower. At the same time, adepts do make it into the main, and ooh, a lot of probes are going down. Oh my god, too many! 6 probes. Cyan taking a massive worker deficit, but he dives on top of the army. He's going to be able to clean this up. There aren't enough Stalkers to clean up the Void Rays. Jieshi will lose everything. GG gets called. And Cyan takes game number 1. GG. A powerful defensive play there from Cyan. Again, able to recognize in time that he was being all-in. But I recognize in time that he was being all-in, and yeah. This time, making it in. I think we're okay this time. We're okay. But yeah. GG, well played. Again, Cyan recognizing how aggressive his opponent was, being able to react and respond in time. Yeah. React and respond in time, and yeah, was able to handle that beautifully. Beautifully. As we're getting into game number 2. Cyan 1 game away from qualifying for the main event. As a reminder, exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the event itself. Oh boy, we have so many high quality players in the main event. It's a $40,000 tournament. Over $40,000 actually, with Creator, Hero, MaxPack, Showtime, Bjorn, Clem, Cure, Maru, Olivera, Spirit, Dark, Raynor, Cyril, and many, many more. The best of the best are going to be a part of this tournament. Oh boy, and Yeah, we're going to do our best to cover as many of the qualifiers as we can. We may even cast the main event. I'm not too sure with how the main event is going to unfold and what the scheduling is going to be looking like. Scheduling even. But yeah, I'll get in contact. I'll get in contact with the admins and we'll figure some stuff out. We will figure it out. Meanwhile, we have Game 2. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Altitude, we have the Chinese Protoss player representing CranKy Gaming down in this series, but not out. It is Jieshi. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Altitude, we have his opponent. We have the player that is one game away from becoming our qualified player from the land of China, representing the Starving Camels, SSLT. It is Cyan. Here we go. Now, because we're on Altitude, we have ramps coming into the natural, which means we can go for some gate expands. Pylons are thrown down, gateways alongside them, and both players are going to be looking to take their natural bases. Likewise, both players are going to try and delay the opponent's natural base for as long as they can with their probes with pylon blocks. Oh, Jieshi asserts his dominance, did attack first. Did force that probe back. Pylon is thrown down. Likewise, across the map, Cyan also going to be threatening a pylon as well. Doesn't go for it yet. Looking to throw down that pylon at the last moment. Doesn't want to waste resources if not necessary. And yeah, it's just going to be rotating around that location. Now, because of these probes and because of these pylons, we should be forcing out zealots. Jieshi has a zealot on the way. Cyan didn't. Ugh, Cyan's being punished right now. Cyan, it took him a long time to actually... He's not making a zealot at all, so I think this is going to be a Stargate first from our red Protoss. That would make sense. Oh no, never mind. We do manage to land that Nexus. Did force a cancel. Thankfully, the pylon did not finish. Yeah, Cyan is able to get away with skipping out on that Zealot. Both players do have their Nexuses on the way. Jieshi is, I would say, a little bit ahead in that respect. Jieshi has a faster Nexus, and it's not like Cyan has any crazy fast tech to work with either. So things are going to be settling down with Jieshi having a little bit of a lead. Oh. This is interesting. It's a robo. That is a fast robo here for Cyan. With a fast robo, you can get into fast immortal production. You can get into a warp prism as well. This is not normal because we're going to be delaying tech. We're delaying Blink. We're delaying the Twilight Council. Yeah, I'm really curious here as to what Cyan has in store for us and how he's going to play this out. Meanwhile, he does catch one of the stalkers in the center of the map. It does go down. Boy, Jieshi being forced back home. Taking that loss. Yeah, the robo has concluded. First Immortal is on the way. This is looking like a 2-base all-in. Very similar to the last game, but a role reversal. Meanwhile, Jeshi's working on a Twilight Council. His own robo. Going to be working on Blink and an Observer as well. So everything's looking very standard out of Jieshi. This is as we would expect. Cyan, with this fast immortal production, is just really odd. It's not something you see too often unless you think you're being all-in or you're going to be the one all-inning. So there we go. Prism is on the way. Hallucinated Scout is being sent out by Cyan. Going to be confirming that Jieshi is going for a standard opener with that Twilight Council. There we go. Sees the gateway, sees the robo timing, sees the Twilight Council as well. Blink hasn't quite started yet, but it should be on the horizon for Jieshi. Meanwhile, Cyan is sending everything across the map. Now, because this is so early on, Force Fields are going to be king. Force Fields have a lot of potential here in this fight. Hallucinates a Colossus even for high ground vision. Okay. I dig it. Jieshi does have a defensive Immortal on the way. He has recognized that, of course, the aggression is real. He does have to prepare for it. Is forced to activate that overcharge. Prism has arrived. Cyan is reinforcing here on the front lines. Gateways are under threat, but the defensive immortal does come out for Jieshi. Oh, can't really engage though. Oh my god. That Cybercore is getting very low. We do have 3 shield batteries here at the natural base. Jieshi was getting prepared here for this all-in, and so far he's holding. So far he's holding well, but the Cybercore goes down. No more Stalkers can be warped in defensively here for Jieshi. He's building a backup Cybercore in his main base. Adepts do shade into the main. Oh, probes are going down at the same time. Cyan busts into the natural base. He wants that immortal. Oh, he's not going to be able to get it. Not quite yet. Is forced away. Cyan throws down 3 more gates back at home and a Twilight Council. No third. Blink down on the production. Another immortal is on the way. Cyan looking for a way into the main if possible. Oh, this is such a risky move. He goes for the force shield on the ramp, but there are Stalkers trapped in there with him. Jieshi did split up his army. Ugh. Thankfully, the Prism is forced back. Cyan forced to expand. The aggression has ended. But Cyan is actually coming out ahead economically. He's been probing up this entire time. We have 3rd base on the way. The downside, of course, is that Cyan is so far behind when it comes to Blink. Blink is about to finish off for Jieshi, so he's going to have a much more mobile army. Oh god, that base gets so low. But yeah, Jieshi's going to have a much more mobile army overall. Blink is just such a crucial upgrade in this matchup. Likewise, +1 is on the way as well on that Forge, which means, again, Jieshi is going to have the upgrade advantage as well. He's just going to have better Stalkers, period. A better army. Cyan, on the flip side, is going to have a higher immortal count. And we'll have more immortals. Oh my god, Jieshi doubling down, and he goes for a Bay as well. The Robotics Bay will grant him access to faster disruptors, so yeah, Jieshi just going for a very high quality army. This can at times be risky, but he knows that Cyan can't be too aggressive. He knows that Cyan is going for a very delayed blink. Cyan does a back off. Just going to be harassing with a couple of Adepts. Adepts do shade on in. They're going to get a couple of probe kills, but nothing too major. I'll say maybe 3 probes. Yeah, 3 probes. 4 probes? Just 3 probes for the time being. Cyan going to be pushing on out. Working on another gateway explosion. Again, Cyan actually has a massive immortal lead. Didn't know it would become this big, but 5 immortals are out here for his opponent. Blink now catches up for Cyan. +1 still not done for Jieshi, but he's fighting without his immortals. Oof. Really rough fights for Cyan. Again, the power of his army is in all these immortals, and they just weren't a part of that fight at all. But here we go. Finally, they are pushing on in. The charge putting in a lot of work. The first immortal does go down. We do have the disruptor. Do have a Purification Nova available. Cyan does have to be careful here with how he engages. He takes a 4th base behind this. It looks like after seeing the disruptor, he's like, nah. I'm not going to throw this away. I'm not going to push in. I know that I cannot break you. Overall, as we look at the battle report here, this was a decent trade. So Cyan, he killed an immortal, but lost 13 Stalkers. A lot of Stalkers. And again, a lot of that was because of the aggressive blink. From Cyan, he did lose so much there. Now he's going to have to back off, lick his wounds, take a faster 4th base, maintain his economic lead, of course. Jieshi not too far behind with his own 4th. And even though Cyan has a better economy, Jieshi has disruptors. He has the better army. +2 now on the way as well. Is that +2? And can Cyan overcome this? Yeah, he can, definitely. He can definitely outposition or have a better fight, have a better trade. Oh boy. Just, yeah, gonna be difficult to do so. He's going for the Dark Shrine. That can help. I'm not gonna say that will help, but it has the opportunity to. We have cannons in all the bases already. Like, we are prepared for this. Observers will be traded out. Jieshi, we're going for the base trade. He reveals his army. He's pushing out across the map. At the same time, Cyan is pushing in towards the 4th base. Unfortunately for Cyan, he's going to be losing something that's a little bit more important. The 3rd is under threat. Very quickly, we see Cyan heading towards the 3rd base of Jieshi as well. The Disruptor up is going to go down. Who is the first player to recall? That is the question. Both players are going to be losing a base. We can see the army of Cyan trying to push in towards the natural as well, but the Chargers have arrived. They're going to trade well against these Immortals. We are going for the recall. The Disruptors have arrived. Oh, no! Massive Nova does go off, connects with the Immortals, and that may just be everything that Jieshi needed. He takes down 2 bases. Meanwhile, Cyan hasn't killed a single base. He does get a mineral line. Does take down 26 probes. Ooh, and he may be able to take down this base as well. It's going to be close. As another Nova goes off. Yeah, Jieshi holds on to his 3rd and his 4th. But we do get a massive warp into the main. Ooh. Even though Jieshi has a base count, he's losing a lot of his economy. Will it matter, though? That's the question. I'm really concerned here for Cyan. Jieshi's down to 32 workers, true. But look at the army supply. Jieshi just has an insane army right now. And Cyan lost everything to those disruptors. He doesn't have any immortals left. He's got stalkers that are still +1. They're soon about to be +2, but yeah, Cyan just doesn't have a standing army. Jieshi, he can A-move. He doesn't even need the disruptors, to be honest. Doesn't even need the disruptors. DTs are warped in across the map, but the DTs are going to be going down. Jieshi forces his way up the ramp into the natural base, and again, there is nothing to stop him. If he wants to, he can push into the natural. It looks like he's being distracted by the probes, but yeah, he doesn't need to be distracted. Novas go off. The stalkers are going down. We can see Cyan trying to buy some time, trying to drag Jieshi away. And he is, actually. But I don't know if Jieshi can lose this game. He might lose workers here at the 3rd, sure. Yeah, detection. Jieshi is looking for the ninja base. He knows it's somewhere out there. He will find it. He will come across the base, and there it is. The last bastion of hope for Cyan is going to be going down. Cyan just doesn't have an economy behind this, doesn't have an army. He warps in a wave of stalkers. It looks like he's going to try and go for a base trade. I appreciate the tenacity. I appreciate the effort here from Cyan. You know, maybe if the recall's on cooldown, you can force like a really awkward situation. I don't know. It's still going to be so difficult. There we go. We're going to be recalling back home as well. Jieshi, he wants to take the fight. Novas are going to be going off. GG gets called, and Jieshi ties up the series 1-1. We're going to the ace match. Going all the way to game number 3. Game numero 3. Oh boy. Pretty chaotic, pretty back and forth, but in the end, taking into disruptors was the right call. Clearly the right call for Jieshi. He just came out on top, shut down any other advantage that his opponent had. The Novas were insane. Well, the Immortals went down, and despite the base trade, which I do think was probably the best chance for Cyan, is going for a base trade, we did see that the Disruptors were recalled in time, and yeah, we're able to defend. GG. GG, well played. And now we're going into the ace match. We're going all the way. We're going the distance here. We're going all the way to game number 3. Boy. Go. Meanwhile, apparently, ESL Open Cup Asia has already concluded. Oh boy. I think it just recently concluded as well. So yeah, we would have missed this. We would have missed the qualifier if we if we had stuck with ESL Asia. So I'm content. I'm content with the outcome here, as we are going to be getting into game number 3 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales. We have the Chinese Protoss player representing the Starving Camels, SSLD. It is Cyan. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Chinese Protoss player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Jieshi. Here we go. Meanwhile, yo, a shout out to some of the people in the chat. We have Feral, the owner of Berserker Esports. We got really Kozan. Is that really Kozan? I think it is. Fellow caster in the community. Welcome, welcome. Hello, bienvenidos, bienvenidos todos. As we are getting into the ace match. Oh boy, it all comes down to this. Once again, gate expands are being set up here from both Cyan and Jieshi. As to be expected, we are loading into Dragon Scales. There is a ramp coming into the natural, so it is quite safe to open up in such a manner, in such an economic manner from both these Protoss players. And now the dance begins. Can we delay the natural? Can we force out some tech? Or do we get our naturals up and running? Battle of the Probes is upon us. There we go. We do see Cyan is the first to throw down that pylon to delay Jieshi. Meanwhile, Cyan quickly checks the main base. He's looking for any additional tech. He's going to double back and look to throw down that pylon. Ooh. Cyan able to cancel in time as well. Just in time. And you don't want to waste the pylon. You don't want to lose it unnecessarily. We do see that both players are forced to chrono out their zealots. Reduce their zealots. Another pylon is thrown down. Meanwhile, Jieshi hasn't thrown down a pylon yet, so he's been very efficient. But there we go. There it is. And again, because of these delays, Cyan has the opportunity here to potentially go into faster tech, but doesn't have too much gas to work with, so yeah, it looks like he just wants to go for the expansion. Meanwhile, Cyan, he throws down a third pylon. Cyan gets away with his base and also delays the base of Jieshi for a little bit longer, and he does force down the tech. Oh my god. That is not a Stargate. That's a Robo. Very fast Robo coming out from Jieshi. We know what that means. That means fast Immortals. That means the beginnings of an all-in. Uh-oh. We've been seeing a lot of this. We've been seeing a lot of this today. Cyan, meanwhile, going for a Stargate opener. This is going to be very important. With this Stargate, he's going to have an Oracle, and it's going to be so important for him to scout what the opener was here of Jieshi, to figure out what has been going on. See the chat catching up. I'm never gonna get tired. I'm never gonna get old of the. Is that really crazy? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Love it. I have some games just Demaga for you. Oh no. Oh Feral, what have you done? Wait, versus Demaga? Feral, don't do your kids dirty. Like, why are you beating up your kids? I would love to cast them. I would love to cast them. I don't know if I'd love to cast them today though. It's been a long cast, and I would appreciate, dude. But at the same time, it depends how long they are. It depends how long they are. As I do see Jieshi going for that prison first. Going to be going out across the map here with the first 2 adepts. Only looking for economic damage. Okay, so no fast immortals. Oh, interesting. Even hallucinating some stalkers as he sends them out across the map again. Posturing, just puffing up his chest. Jieshi just going to be macroing up behind this. Nothing too crazy. There is a little potential, of course, with these adepts. Of course, 2 adepts do one-shot a probe, so they can wreak a lot of havoc here in the natural base of Cyan. Stalkers are getting in position. The adepts do bust on in. Oh my god, a little bit of mistargeting there from Cyan as well. As the adepts make their way into the main base, 3 probes already go down, 4 probes even. And in a mirror matchup, every worker counts. Gets a 6th probe towards the end. Oh, at the same time, the oracles are across the map, and hey, we are doing some counter damage. The oracle's barely able to survive. 4 probes are killed, and that is going to even things up. We have an even worker count across the board. The robo opener has been scattered as well, so Cyan should be aware that his opponent has access to immortals. So the first immortal has arrived. Meanwhile, Cyan is going for a faster blink instead. Oh god, this is going to be rough pathing. The prism is going to go down. Jieshi being a little bit overconfident, did lose that prism, and now he's going to be losing quite a lot more. Does get 4 probes, which is nice. But with the death of that prism, that means that Cyan is safe and sound at home. He is free to probe, free to take a 3rd base. Meanwhile, the oracles are still a threat. Oof. There's a couple more probes who go down. Meanwhile, the adepts make their way back into the main base. Oh my god, if you're a Protoss player out there, if you're a probe out there, just look away. Look away, Papi. Looking at the units lost tab, Cyan has lost 13 probes. Jieshi has lost 7. 8. 9? And 8 for now. Oh boy. Well, yeah. Again, both players losing quite a lot of workers here. Jieshi taking an economic lead. Does reveal his immortal. There is no shield battery at the 3rd base, so this base is actually looking a little bit exposed. Cyan is aware of that. He's going to be rotating on over. He does have a stalker lead, but he has to respect that immortal. Oh, he has no respect for it. He dies on 4. He does trigger the shields. He has good enough links. He is able to preserve his unit count. He is able to preserve those stalkers. Does reinforce. He wants to snowball out of control. Again, he wants to take advantage of the fact that there is no shield battery. The time being is being forced back. Those probes tanking a lot of shots. But this army from Jieshi is so small. Ugo is trying to reinforce. And now the shield battery has arrived. We have an overcharge. Our 3rd base is safe. Should be safe. Okay. Blink now kicks in for Jieshi as well. He's able to counter Blink. Ooh, he's going to be bleeding out some of these stalkers, but for the most part, he shouldn't. Like, things shouldn't snowball out of control. As we can see, Cyan even losing a couple of stalkers himself. Behind this, charge on the way. Robo. Jeshi's already got +1, now working on +2. So Jieshi will have a higher quality army. Once again, just like the previous game. Jieshi has the upgrade advantage. He has the army composition advantage as well with those immortals. And Cyan playing with fire right now. He's playing with fire and he's getting burned as well. Oof. Bleeds out 3, 4 stalkers. 4 stalkers go down. Meanwhile, Jieshi, he knows he has the momentum on his side. He pushes on through. Makes his way through the choke point as well. The force fields were too late. Shield battery goes down. Cyan is trying to get a 4th base up and running. He's trying to at least have the economy on his side. And he will, to be fair. Oh. Also, there's nothing quite here in position. A couple of... 1 probe is going to go down. Only 1. Jeshi's pushing on through. It looks like both immortals are going to be focused down. Good target firing coming out from Cyan. But is it going to be enough? Jieshi still has a massive Stalker lead, but here come the Zealots. Those do come in just in time. Cyan is going to be able to force this back. Cyan did lose a lot of workers in the process, but because of this 4th Nexus, he can make 4 probes at a time. He can catch back up. Even takes down the Prism. Prism does go down. Cyan catching, I was going to say catching up with the upgrades. Kind of. Did even up the upgrades for a little bit, but Jieshi able to maintain his upgrade lead. Working on his own 4th base. A little bit later than his opponent, but on the way nonetheless. Immortal count was reset, and Jieshi is not rebuilding his Immortals. He's going for the Prism instead, which makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of utility to be had in that Prism, but this means that suddenly the Immortal count is in favor of Cyan. No one is taking into Disruptors yet. I would kind of prefer that out of Cyan, to be honest, but you know, to each their own. Fun fact, this entire series, Cyan hasn't made a single Disruptor. Not even against Nice. In that earlier match. Interesting. This is an interesting thing to take note of. It's possible that maybe he doesn't enjoy Disruptors. It's possible that he doesn't enjoy maneuvering them and controlling them. I know they can be a really awkward unit, but there's still just so much power behind them. I mean, that's what won Jieshi the game. That's what forced the ace match, is the Disruptor. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. There are no Disruptors, period, this game. Prism once again taking a lot of hits, a couple shots away from going down. Jieshi has to be careful. Cyan does end up maneuvering his way in between these bases. Does catch up in the upgrades. 2-2 all around. At the same time, a couple of adepts do shade into the mineral line at the 4th base, but there is nothing really to kill. And the saturation for Jieshi not anywhere near as good. And here we go, Cyan. He does dive on top of the army. The charge lots do close the gap. You do see Jieshi taking a pretty good defensive position here on top of the high ground, on top of that ramp. Cyan kind of caught between 2 worlds. Does he want to push into the natural or the 3rd base? He wants the Cybercore at least. No more Stalkers can be warped in. The Cybercore now on the way. Cyan throws down a Dark Shrine at the same time. And he dives into the 3rd base, takes down the shield battery. Is going to swallow up the Zealot army as well. A couple of force fields are thrown down. There are Immortals waiting on top of this ramp as well. Cyan taking a beautiful fight, winning on both fronts. And how can Jieshi really engage here? He's just bleeding out far too many Stalkers. Stalkers that he cannot replace because of the death of that Cybercore. And now the 3rd base has been broken and has been compromised. It is going to go down instantly. Cyan now with a massive advantage. Just out-positioning his opponent. Getting into those Immortals. Just wedging himself into a really awkward position for even Jieshi to deal with. As a recall is forced, but the recall, it doesn't even matter. Cyan has far too much. Jieshi did such a great job making it here to the qualifying match, making it to the finals, but it's not going to be enough. GG gets called, and Cyan takes the series 2-1. GG, well played. Never count out a camel, mate. The camels, they're terrifying. They're hungry. They're always hungry for more, and you know what? They're going to get more in the main event in Masters Coliseum number 6. GG, very well played there by Cyan. We're having such a solid run here in the qualifiers. He didn't drop a single map until the finals, where Jieshi did draw blood, but just wasn't enough to bring down the might of Cyan. There's something about these camels, mate. There's something about these camels. GG, well played. And with that, congratulations. Congratulations to Cyan for making it through, making it into that main event. And I'm going to take this moment as well to go over the event if possible. Because I know that this isn't the most... sorry, I should also update the score on the screen. But I know this isn't the most public or the most advertised thing right now. I think it needs a little bit more time for people to really understand what's going on. But you can !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves, as we are going to have a look at Wikipedia page. And here we go. So this event is how much in total? $41,000. 41,000 USD in Masters Coliseum number 6, and these are the invited players. So if you've been tuning into our World Team League broadcasts and to our Kung Fu Cup broadcast as well, then you would know that we keep harping on the fact that some of these matches in WTL and Kung Fu Cup, they matter because even if they don't matter in the standings of WTL in World Team League, they matter for points. And we weren't sure what the event was going to be. I don't think at the time it was advertised, but we knew that there was an event on the horizon. There was an event that would aggregate all of these points and all these scores and arrange the players in such a way to send out invites across the board to the highest placing players in Kung Fu Cups and the best performing players in WTL as well. And that's what these players are. Here we have them. We have Creator, Firefly, Hero, Max Pax, Showtime for the Protoss, Bjorn, Clem, Cure, Maru, Oliveira, Ryung, Spirit for the Terran, of course, Dark, Rainer, Cyril, and Solar for the Zerg. So there you go. The best of the best have been invited based on their standings in WTL points, which were collected through Kung Fu Cups and collected through World Team League. So these are the invites, and there are still more players to come from the qualifiers. And we just had one. We just had our first qualifier. We have our first player to add to the list, and it is going to be Cyan from the Asia region. But there are still 7 more players to go. 7 more players. There are going to be qualifiers for the other regions as I scroll up here, and yep, that's we build over to the qualifiers. There is the Asia qualifier, which we just finished up. We get 2 players from the Korean qualifier, 2 players from the European qualifier, 1 player from the American qualifier, and 2 players from the global qualifier. Global is open to all regions, all shapes, all sizes. So a lot of qualifiers are going to be taking place over the next 2 weeks. And as you can imagine, we're going to be casting them. We are going to be casting them here on the CranKy Ducklings. We're going to be covering as many as we can. I can promise you almost all of them, except for EU. I'm here in Australia, but what do you want from me? I need to sleep at some point. I'll have a look at our calendar, and if I can somehow squeeze in an EU qualifier, then maybe we'll do the European qualifier. But that is the least likely of the ones that we're going to be able to cover. But all the others, like Korean, NA, Global, we got you covered. We do have you covered there. So yeah, keep an eye out. Keep an eye out on the social medias. Keep an eye out on Twitter, on Discord, on Facebook, Instagram, whatever you want. We got you. Except for TikTok, we don't. Wait, no. We don't have a TikTok account, but we got everything else, and we do post whenever we go live. We try and share and spread the word whenever we go live with our events. So yeah, it is something to bear in mind. It is something to to keep your eye out for. So if you want some more StarCraft, we got you covered. We do have you covered. Cool. Outside of that, is there anything else to go over other than, of course, congratulations to Cyan? Do we have any other events tomorrow? Of course we do. We always have events. Tomorrow is ESL Open Cup Americas, papi, America. So tomorrow morning, going to be live in 11 hours, 10 hours. In 11 to 10 hours, we're going to be live with ESL Open Cup Americas. Going to be casting that here on the channel. In just under 24 hours, tomorrow is the first Korean qualifier. The first Korean qualifier for this very event. So if you want some Korean on Korean action, you know where to go. The CranKy Ducklings. We got you covered. Do have you covered. Oh, that'll be tomorrow. Looking at our schedule as well, you know what? The EU qualifier is actually pretty early. I'm looking at it. It's not at a bad time. I think we can cover everything. I think we can cast everything. Don't hold me to that. But you know, tentatively, I want to say that we can cast every one of those qualifiers. So, yeah, we got you covered, even with EU, Poppy. Even who needs sleep? Oh, we don't know. No sleep here, Poppy. No sleep here. So, yeah, plenty of StarCraft. StarCraft every single day of the week. Sometimes multiple times a day. Like today. Today we casted ESL Open Cup Asia, and then Masters Coliseum. As a reminder, we didn't cast the semifinals or the finals of ESL Open Cup Asia, so I will be saving that for a replay cast later on in the week. I'm going to be rescheduling that and setting some time aside to cast those replays. So we got you covered. So don't worry, don't fret, don't be too concerned that you missed out on the finale of ESL Open Cup Asia. We got you covered. We will have you covered there. So don't worry. It'll all be here on the CranKy Ducklings. Outside of that, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much everyone for watching as well. Do appreciate it. I prefer messages by Carrier Duck. Can this be arranged? Carrier Duck. You know, I would like a pet duck. And maybe I can teach it to fly around and send a letter. Give us a couple of years. Give us a couple of years, and maybe I'll get on that for you. I like this. Catching up. It always depends how long they are. It's not the size of the replay that counts, though. It's how entertaining it is. You know, it's how much. You're right. It's about how much that replay satisfies you. You know, how satisfying is the replay, Feral? Are you in our Discord server? If you're in our Discord, you can give us the replay there. We can cast it. We can definitely cast it. But for the time being, for now though, I believe we are done for the night. We're done for the evening. Hope everyone had a great time. Hope everyone enjoyed the StarCraft. And yeah, stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Who is live right now? Who can we send the Ducklings over to? Where can we quack? Uwu Thermal is live. Uthermal is live, but he's got plenty of viewers. Typically, we try to raid someone who has less viewers. Who maybe needs the viewership a little bit more. So who is out there? That's a good question. It's a good question. I guess I could raid Ryu, but I think he's playing TFT, right? Or is he playing a show match? No. All right, we'll figure it out. So yeah, with that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. ! Socials in the chat if you want a link to all of our social media. ! YouTube in the chat if you want a link to our YouTube channel where we have all of our VODs. And ! Discord and Patreon and all that. We have commands for everything. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow for ESL Americas and the Korean qualifier. Till then, bye.